I'd like to call the Monday, July 10th, 2017 Planning Commission meeting to order, and if I could ask you to please join me in standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I want to welcome everyone tonight, and those also here in the gallery and those watching. I'll go over the agenda first. The first one is the consent agenda. Number 2 is a public hearing rezoning for St. Mary's. Number 3 is a public hearing rezoning for Adams Dairy Road. Number 4 is a preliminary plat, and we're going to hear that with the final plat on number 5 for Putnam Acres. Then we'll have other business, and we'll then adjourn. So with that, I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Commissioner Peel, and then second with Commissioner Graham. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, at this time I'm going to open number 2, which is the public hearing. The applicant has requested for it to be continued to Monday, July the 24th, so when I open it, I'll entertain a motion to continue. So I'll open the public hearing for the rezoning of St. Mary's RZ 06-17-5874. Do I hear a motion to continue?
Madam Chair, I
Yes,
move we
Commissioner.
continue this item until Monday, July 24th.
Okay, do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay. Do we need a roll call or just all? Okay, all right. So that will be held open and be continued to July the 24th. And at this time, I'll go ahead and open number 3. This is the rezoning for 1212 Northeast Adams Dairy Road, RZ-06-17-5885. And I'm going to call for the city attorney to please read the exhibits.
Madam Chair, I offer the following exhibits into the record. Exhibit 1, staff report with attachments. 2, affidavit of publication in the Examiner on June 24, 2017. 3, application with attachments. 4, 185 feet notification map. 5, names and addresses of property owners within 185 feet of the site. 6, copy of the letter sent to said property owners. 7, Title 4, Land Use Section, Blue Springs Code of Ordinances by reference. And 8, 2014 Comprehensive Plan by reference.
Okay, thank you very much. And before I get started and turn it over to staff, I'd like to read the instructions for the public hearing. Since I've called it open, I've called for exhibits. Now the staff will make their presentation. I'll have the applicant ask them if they'd like to make a presentation. We'll call for witnesses in favor, witnesses opposed. We'll have general discussion, and then we will close the hearing and have our vote. So with that, Mr. Jurey.
Thank you, Chairman Banks and Commissioners. Before you today is the rezoning request from Leonard Barker, both the applicant and property owner, to rezone the 1212 Northeast Adams Dairy Road address site, which is approximately 1.39 acres. There are 2 lots on this, but 1 existing house, and it's currently zoned county ag. The rezoning request is to change that county zoning into the SF7 zoning that is under the city zoning code. So the purpose of this, or the applicant is not proposing to develop any more of this property than already exists. There's 1 single-family house, as I mentioned earlier. Driveway is located on the adjacent lot that is the access for that single-family house. This property was annexed into the city on June 5th, just last month, by the City Council, with the purpose to, on the applicant's end, to eventually connect to city water. And so part of that requirement to connect to city water is to rezone it to the city zoning. So this is what this application is here for today. So the SF zoning district does allow detached houses as well as accessory dwellings under certain conditions, and group homes limited as well. But this SF7 matches the zoning to the north of the property, which is, or to the north lot, which is SF7 as well. And it's located pretty close to a couple other Jackson County lots that will are currently under Jackson County. So with that, staff does recommend the approval of this rezoning request. And if there are any questions, I'll stand to answer them.
Are there any questions for staff?
Madam Chair?
Yes, Commissioner.
Mr. Jurey, does the property at this point conform to current UDC?
No, not entirely, but until redevelopment, we won't be required to require that to be into or come into compliance with the current zoning. I guess the main thing that I'm looking at is just that driveway is gravel, and it can remain as such until further redevelopment.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Are there any other questions for staff? Okay, at this time I would like to call if the applicant would like to make a presentation, if they're present. You'll need to be sworn in. Give your name. And,
Leonard Barker.
okay, right over there, sir.
Please raise your right hand, please, sir. You solemnly swear to testify about the truth and cause on marriage to be the truth, the whole truth, and so help you God.
I do.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, not too much to say. Nathan's covered it pretty well. This is an older home that I purchased for my son and daughter-in-law, and we're rebuilding it. And of course, it's on a cistern now, and we want to get it over to city water, so that's what's prompted the annexation and the rezoning. So other than that, there's not much to say on it unless you other have some questions.
Are there any questions for the applicant? Yes, Commissioner Beck.
Do you currently have a septic tank?
Your mic needs to be on, please.
Do you currently have a septic tank, or are you going to want to connect to the city sewer system also?
It's on a septic system, which we had rebuilt about 1.5 years ago in anticipation of coming into the city. The nearest sewer system, from what I have checked, is over to the north of the fire station, and I'm told that it's virtually solid rock through there and very unlikely that you're going to want to ever bring sewer up to us.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
but I am aware of the city's requirements for not replacing a system once I'm in the city, and that's why we had it done prior.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions for staff? I mean, for the applicant? Thank you, sir. Now I call for those that are in favor of the applicant. If there's anyone here that would like to speak in favor. Anyone opposed? Okay, bringing it up here. Are there any other questions of the commissioners?
Madam Chair?
Yes, Mr.
Did staff receive any opposition letters from the 5 that were within 185 feet?
No, we just received one return letter.
Okay.
Thank you. You're welcome.
No further questions, Chair. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Oh, yes, sir.
I'm not opposed, I just want to know why it's happening.
Okay.
I live next door.
Please be
You'll
sworn
need to
in?
be sworn in.
Excuse me. Jeff King.
Do you solemnly swear to testify about the truth and cause on marriage to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Thank you, sir.
And I'll need your name. Did you get his name and address?
No, I
I
didn't.
need the address.
1304 Northeast Adams Dairy Road.
Did you say it was Jacqueline?
Yes.
Jeff King.
I'm just asking why the rezoning. I've been there 25 years, I'm just trying to figure out why they're trying to rezone it. It's the only reason I'm here.
Mr. Jurey?
Yes, so currently it's county zoning, agricultural zoning, and part of the requirement to come into the city and use city utilities through the annexation and everything, we do require a rezoning to the city zoning standards. We don't have an agricultural zoning district, so there needs to be a rezone to at least something that would match the existing building or surrounding area.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions or comments? Okay. I'll close the public hearing. And I would entertain a motion.
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Peel?
I move that the rezoning RC 061788 be approved as submitted.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
So we will have a roll call vote.
Planning Commissioner Cradoff,
Aye.
Commissioner Wallace,
Aye.
Commissioner Graham,
Aye.
Commissioner Fairbanks,
Yes.
Commissioner Peel,
Aye.
Commissioner Billups,
Aye.
Commissioner Haney,
Aye.
Chairman Grant, or Chairman Banks. I will get that right.
Well, you'll get it. Aye.
Thank you.
That's all right. It's new to me too.
Apologize.
Okay, moving on. We'll go to the preliminary plat. Putnam Acres on item 4 and 5, and we'll hear these together, I believe. And Mr. Jurey, here we go.
All right, thank you, Chairman Banks and Commissioners. Before you today is a preliminary and final plat for Putnam Acres, and it's located on the south side of Southwest Liggett Road, approximately 350 feet west of Southwest 12th Street. Currently it's zoned RE, zoning residential estates, and there's the zoning map there. And it's approximately 1.74 acres. The proposal is for one lot. It is a flag lot, but the applicant did receive a variance to allow a lot frontage that is less than allowed by city zoning. So the main concern has been alleviated with that. The lot frontage width, the lot size and everything matches the building types that are allowed in residential estates other than that. But I will clarify one thing just to make sure that it's on the record, I guess, for the ownership of this lot. When this application was applied for, originally the owner of the lot was Steve and Jackie Putnam, and thus the name of the lot, or the final plat. But halfway through, right on July 5th, the Putnams sold it to the Charles Schotten and Ilona, and they now own the property, and they did submit a letter to staff last week mentioning that they understand everything with the application that has been submitted so far, and as the property owners at that point are okay with everything that has been submitted. They also dropped down a financial guarantee by the city for the public improvements that will be required with this final plat. So with that, I will go on to show the final plat and provide a little further detail on it. So it does meet all of the lot size requirements with variance, of course. The setbacks can easily be met on this property. It does have access off of Liggett Road, but a sidewalk, 5-foot sidewalk, and road improvements will be required on their portion of Liggett Road where they abut that right away. Beyond that, all public utilities are available. They provided easements, utility easements where necessary. The only outstanding issue that they did provide was a private access easement that does allow emergency vehicles, mainly fire, police, city vehicles and such, to access the property to the south of this lot, which is a landlocked property. And it's currently unplatted. You can see it just on the bottom portion of this plat here. And it's currently landlocked, but this private access easement will allow at least city emergency services to access that and provide any safety necessities that that lot may need at any time in the future. So with that, Staff does recommend approval of the preliminary and final plat with 3 conditions, and I'll stand for any questions.
Are there any questions from Mr. Jurey? Okay. Go ahead. Mr. Fairbanks?
So all city utilities are available to this location?
Yes, they might have to extend some, but, or do they need to? I'll defer to Public Works if necessary.
Yes, all utilities are available. Water is on the north side of Liggett Road, and we're going to require boring under Liggett Road versus open cut, but sanitary sewer and water are available.
Okay. Is there potential then that landlocked lot will be sold in the future and want to access city utilities also?
They would be able to do that through the easements that are being dedicated with this plat.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions? Okay. The applicant like to come, do you have a presentation you'd like to say? Okay. I do have a question, since you have bought it, if you were going to change the name.
We didn't know it was Putnam Acres until we went to sign on the plat this past week, but that's fine for now.
All right. So, even though you weren't at a microphone for everybody to hear it, he said he's not going to change the name. So, okay. So we'll go ahead and bring it back here to see if is there any conversation or anything among any of the commissioners? Okay. Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion. You want to vote on them separately?
Yes.
Okay. We'll vote separately on these. Since we heard them together, but we'll vote separately. Do I hear a motion, entertain a motion on the preliminary plat?
Madam Chair,
Yes, Commissioner Haney.
I make a motion to approve preliminary plat PP 06175852 Putnam Acres with the 3 conditions.
Okay, do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, Commissioner Peel? All right, then we, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Now we'll have the final plat. Do I entertain a motion?
Madam Chair, make a motion to approve the final plat PF 06175853 Putnam Acres.
Second.
Is that Commissioner Peel? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, motion carried. So, and that will be a recommendation to City Council. Okay. The other business that I have is the next meeting is Monday, July the 24th, 2017. And don't forget, don't run off. We've got a work session after this. So I would entertain it if there's any other business. Yes, Mr. Allen.
Yes, Madam Chair, if you'd like, I could run through the agenda for the next meeting real quick.
Okay.
All right. If you don't, that's fine as well.
Oh, I want to know.
Just briefly, again, the St. Mary's rezoning has been continued to the 24th. We'll also have a planned development concept plan for the gardens of Colonial Highlands. You've seen parts of those at times over the last several months, so it's the next step in that process, along with a preliminary plat for that project. Along with St. Mary's and their rezoning, they also do have preliminary and final plats as well. Majority of that is just simply some cleanup with some change of ownership and such, much like the recently annexed property that we saw here tonight, very similar in purpose and nature. We are also anticipating to see a reconfiguration of Ridgewood Place at Chapman Farms, which was Lot 10 of Chapman Farms. So it's gone through some reiterations and redrafting, and they've submitted for reconsideration a kind of a new configuration for you at the next meeting. That would be plan development, final plan, a preliminary plat, and a final plat. And then finally, also have a master alternative sign plan for Scooter's Coffee, which you may have seen is under construction in front of Blue Springs Fitness and that shopping center on North 7. So that's have a full agenda for the 24th, but certainly a lot of things going on here this summer.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, with that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Okay, All those in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, motion carried. Meeting's adjourned.